Right now at 5, the battle over the possibility of legalizing marijuana in Kansas.
Plus, we have a chilly start to our morning, but a mild day ahead.
And Joplin celebrates the completion of a street project designed to improve traffic capacity and safety.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chloe Arroyo. Well, we have all the decorations out now.
We certainly do.
Super festive.
It looks great. Our Stacy Strader, one of our assistant news director, and one of our digital content creators, Peyton Williams, put all of this together yesterday, and it looks so good. Finally celebrating Christmas here in the studio with just under a week to go.
Yes,
so,
and it feels
exciting.
So good. Yes,
it really does.
It's the perfect time to have all the decor out. It's perfect because, I mean, like you said, we're less than a week away from Christmas. And in fact, that's Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, right?
Yeah. Unbelievable. Just around the corner.
My goodness.
Just around the corner.
Yes.
And it felt like it this morning too. Yes. I had a pretty good layer of frost on my car this morning.
Oh yeah, I had to sit there and let it defrost this morning. Sat there for like a good 10 minutes, scrolled on my phone. I was like, I'm not gonna drive with this.
No,
right now.
That's safe.
Yeah, smart call, right? Well, this morning we're still gonna keep those cold temperatures over the next couple of hours. We got our temperatures in the upper 20s, lower 30s right now. However, we do have that southerly wind along with us, and then that's gonna continue throughout the next couple of hours. That southerly wind, and then we'll switch to a westerly flow later on this afternoon. So here's a look at our winds right now. We're anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's going to continue over the next couple of hours, and that will slowly start to increase later on this afternoon. So here's a look at your wind gusts. Now for southwestern Missouri, we'll see wind gusts upwards of 35 miles per hour later on this afternoon. This is around noon on to just today, so around lunchtime it could pick up later on today. We'll calm down before we see another round of wind gusts, hefty wind gusts tonight into tomorrow morning. That's because a cold front's going to push through, and with that front we'll have some hefty winds along with us. That'll make our feel like temperatures really cold. So this morning we'll feel like in the teens to the 20s, and then we'll feel like we're in the 40s later on this afternoon. But tomorrow, look at this, we'll feel like we're in the single-digit temperatures heading into Friday morning due to that cold front. So it's going to be a chilly day on Friday, more than what we've seen recently. In fact, we've seen a lot of above average temperatures recently. So really keep that in mind. It's going to be a pretty big shift compared to what we've seen. As the kiddos are off to school, we'll be temperatures in the 30s, and then we'll warm up into the 50s, lower 50s later on today. So here's what we're tracking. We've got a chilly morning ahead of us, as well as a mild day following that. And then we'll have a calm weekend ahead. I'll have the details on that, and of course our Christmas Eve rain. We've been talking about it for a while. I'll have that updated forecast for you coming up.
All right, Chloe, thanks. Well, the Kansas Bureau of Investigations reportedly clears 3 Southeast Kansas law officers of wrongdoing in a shooting death. Now, according to the Montgomery County Chronicle, the KBI has wrapped up its probe into the fatal shooting that happened last August. Coffeyville police officers had stopped a pickup driven by 33-year-old Derek Trotter and tried to detain him to serve a search warrant. The initial police report said Trotter resisted and tried to escape. It said 2 officers deployed tasers, but that Trotter continued to be combative. Now, 1 officer fired 3 rounds, striking Trotter, who later died. Now, the Chronicle reports the Montgomery County Attorney has announced charges will not be filed against the officers, saying the shooting was justifiable self-defense. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, counselors have been made available for students in McDonald County after one of their peers died from injuries sustained in an ATV crash. Now, in light of this most recent tragedy, we spoke with a power sports store in Joplin about the precautions you should take while operating an off-road vehicle. Now, they stress that drivers and passengers should wear safety gear such as a helmet, gloves, and boots. Now, riding on residential roads or roads with a lot of traffic is discouraged if you do not have proper authorization.
Legally, I am not allowed to sell a unit to a customer. Say if a customer walks in here and says, I have a 4-year-old kid that I'm looking to buy a 70cc four-wheeler for. I got to stop him right there and say, given you just told me the age of your child, the youngest one that I'm allowed to sell one to is 6 years old, so I'm sorry, but I can't legally sell this to you.
According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, between 2018 and 2020, 2,448 deaths associated with ATV and other off-road vehicles. And the final phase of the Connecticut widening program is officially complete. The city of Joplin gathered to celebrate the milestone with a ribbon cutting. The overall Connecticut widening project started from 10th Street to 44th Street and expanded a 2.7-mile stretch of a 2-lane roadway into a 5-lane thoroughfare. Now, the last phase widened this north-south corridor to a 5-lane from 32nd Street to the I-44 bridge. And they also added a sidewalk and bike trail on the west side of the roadway. The first phase of the $3.8 million project started in 2005.
It's going to help for the schools as well as the hospitals. It's going to get traffic through here. So it's been a long time needed.
And the goal of the project is to improve traffic capacity and safety. The ongoing discussion regarding the future of marijuana in Kansas is set to continue in 2025. Now, a special committee has been tackling the topic every legislative session since 2021. Now, some are getting tired of its going nowhere for Kansas when surrounding states all have legalized at least medical marijuana. KOAM Samantha Walker has more.
The Special Committee for Medical Marijuana isn't new in Kansas. For years, it's heard reports and testimonies from groups like the ACLU and the Kansas Cannabis Chamber of Commerce who support potential positive impacts.
Understanding that they are going to come into these meetings prepared and well informed, and we're absolutely seeing the opposite of that.
On the other side of the aisle are law enforcement groups like the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. The director of the KBI in his testimony said he, quote, believes that legalization of marijuana, whether it be for medical or recreational purposes, would be a mistake that will cause increased criminal behavior, increased mental illness, and psychoses in our young adults, and will make our citizens less safe and less healthy. Another topic discussed includes financial impacts of legalized marijuana. In 2023, Missouri generated more than $1.3 billion in marijuana sales, according to the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. Dispensaries like this have been popping up more and more often across Missouri, with many Kansans actually crossing the border to purchase products. The Kansas Cannabis Chamber of Commerce says people need to just look at Missouri to see the opportunities Kansas may be missing out on.
You guys are doing really well bringing in tax dollars and putting those funds into schools and public policies.
This year, the Kansas Special Committee voted against recommending legislation to their peers, but opted to see how other states continue to vote. The Kansas Cannabis Chamber of Commerce say they don't see a legal program coming to the state anytime soon.
We feel like these are performative, that these are not for, actually making critical decisions for the health and for just Kansas alone.
Reporting in Kansas, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Medicinal marijuana is expected to be a topic once again in the upcoming legislative session starting January 13th. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Pitt State men's basketball plays its final game in the River City Holiday Classic. We'll have the details. Plus, Iran is now pausing the implementation of stricter hijab laws for women. And we have a warmer and mostly sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chloe Arroyo in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, Pittsburgh State men's basketball finishes up its stay in San Antonio yesterday afternoon as the Gorillas wrap up their time at the River City Holiday Classic after losing a tight one to Missouri St. Louis on Tuesday. Yesterday's opponent is Colorado Mesa, and the Gorillas lose 68-60. They go 0-2 in San Antonio. And not a bad day for Pitt State big man Tane Prichter, as he has a double-double of 14 points and 11 rebounds, but PSU shoots just 30% from the field compared to 45 for Colorado Mesa. Gorillas are off until the new year. Well, junior college basketball season is in a bit of a down period right now. Now, a couple of our local teams, NEO and Coffeyville, don't play their next games until 2025, but both the Norsemen and Red Ravens get ranked inside this week's top 25. Now, here's a look at the most recent edition of the NJCAA men's top 25. Now, NEO has been in the top 10 for the entire year, and that doesn't change this week. Now, the Golden Norsemen are ranked number 8 in the country after starting the season 12-1. Their only loss came to Butler, who's ranked 5th. Then the Red Ravens of Coffeyville are ranked 23rd, and their 2 losses each came against top 10 teams, NEO and Cowley County Community College. And speaking of top 10 teams, Pittsburgh State women's basketball remains ranked number 8 in the country in the most recent Division II coaches poll. The Gorillas lost their season opener, but have won 9 in a row since then. And right now, they're down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, getting ready to participate in the NSU Holiday Invitational. PSU faces Nova Southeastern today, then Colorado Mesa on Friday. And teams have been selected for the 17th annual Missouri 8-man All-Star football game, which will take place on June 28th at Missouri Western State University. Now, 3 of our local high school football players are selected to participate in the All-Star game. Jasper offensive and defensive lineman Luke Beard gets selected to the blue team, as does New Heights quarterback and defensive back Logan Decker. And the red team features liberal offensive and defensive lineman Cole Wiles. Again, the game takes place at Spratt Stadium on the campus of Missouri Western on June 28th. Well, still to come, a new study offers clues on how adults can ease their ADHD symptoms. Plus, a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Well, good morning and welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We're starting out pretty chilly today. We talked about it this morning. Elise and I both had frost on our windshield this morning. It's going to be like that over the next couple of hours as that sun is still down, but those temperatures are still cold across the board. And a lot of us, if not all of us, except for Bella Vista a little bit further south, we're all below freezing right now, upper 20s, lower 30s across the board. We have that southerly flow along with us, only about 5 to 10 miles per hour right now. That's going to pick up just a little bit this afternoon. In fact, around noon, our further eastern counties in southwestern Missouri could see wind gusts upwards of 35 to 40 miles per hour. This is around lunchtime, so really keep that in mind if you have any outdoor plans, because overall today is going to be a nice day in the 50s. Just that wind is something to keep in mind as you head a little further east. We'll eventually stick with a westerly wind later on this afternoon before we get into tomorrow night, or excuse me, tonight, Friday morning, we'll see a front push through. That's going to change the direction in our winds and also bring some wind gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour, and that will stick with us through lunch tomorrow. Now, our feel like temperatures today, this morning, will feel like we're in the teens to lower 20s, so it's going to feel really chilly outside this afternoon, feeling like in the 40s to upper 30s. But tomorrow morning, once that cold front pushes through, we'll see those temperatures really feel like single digits. Mount Vernon feeling like 3 degrees tomorrow morning. So really keep that in mind as the kiddos are heading out to class tomorrow morning, making sure that they are extra bundled up for that. Now your bus stop forecast today, off to school will be temperatures in the 30s. Again, we've got that southerly wind along with us. Then this afternoon, we're going to warm up a little bit. Our winds are going to shift directions, and we'll see a westerly wind later on today. Lower 50s for your afternoon and sunny skies across the board. We've got a couple clouds here and there in store, but above all, we'll see that sunshine along with us. Southwest winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. So really keep that in mind. Planning out your evening, we'll see temperatures in the 40s, but our low tonight in the 20s because that cold front will push through. So we'll see a change, a really strong temperature gradient pushing through later on tonight. So we'll go from 40s to 20s pretty quickly. Now your future track will have a ridge set in off into the western portion of the U.S. That's going to keep us calm until the beginning of next week. Monday into Tuesday, we'll see our next chance for rainfall. We're talking Christmas Eve. So the morning of Christmas Eve, we could see some showers here and there. We'll see a break on Christmas Day before we see another chance for showers push through. This starts on Thursday, and we'll see a chance for showers Friday, Saturday, into Sunday as well. Here's a look at that 10-day forecast. We'll be cold on Friday, high only reaching up to 36 degrees, and then we'll be pretty active in terms of the weather pattern heading into next week. Aside from Christmas Day, really the only day we don't have a chance for showers. Stick around. Health Watch is next.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning, the investigation into an E. coli outbreak involving organic carrots is over. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration announced Wednesday that it has concluded its investigation into the outbreak that resulted in 48 reported illnesses in 19 states. And there was 1 death. Now, the carrots were supplied by Grimway Farms of Bakersfield, California. The FDA inspected the facility and found cetotoxin producing E. coli in 2 environmental samples. Investigators believe the recalled carrots likely were the outbreak source, and the carrots are past their shelf life and no longer available in stores. Life expectancy in the United States has rebounded closer to levels before the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, in fact, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, life expectancy is rising nearly as quickly as it fell. Life expectancy was 78.8 in 2019, but it dropped nearly 2.5 years by 2021. Life expectancy rose more than a year in 2022, and new CDC data shows it increased by nearly another full year in 2023. People born in 2023 are now estimated to live 28.4 years, according to the CDC. The improvement is being attributed to lower death rates in each of the 10 leading causes of death, including deaths from COVID-19, drug overdoses, heart disease, diabetes, kidney and chronic liver disease, cancer, and stroke. Well, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, can persist into adulthood. And a large new study has assessed which treatments may be most effective at alleviating ADHD symptoms for adults. Now, researchers found that stimulant medications and the antidepressant atomoxetine were more effective than placebos at reducing ADHD symptoms short term. However, the authors also found that medications were more likely than placebos to be discontinued due to side effects. Non-pharmacological treatments such as cognitive behavioral therapy or mindfulness were also more effective than a placebo. And experts say the study is not a one-size-fits-all, and there's a need for more long-term studies. Well, don't leave milk and cookies out for this Santa. A Phoenix area man known to many as Santa Claus spent his summer having heart surgery. Now, as he's doing now here during his important time of the year, well, Jordan Bonke tells us.
For a quarter century, this one-time apprentice of St. Nick himself has always found time to stop for anyone in need of a hug, a picture, or just advice on how to end up on the nice list.
So you're listening?
And while 'tis the season,
Hello Kitty.
wearing the red suit comes with a Santa-sized responsibility that when the calendar reaches mid-November, it's the most wonderful and busiest time of the year.
I had the reindeer out doing both dry roof and snow-covered roof landings.
So when Santa's helper, 68-year-old Dana Kovash, started experiencing chest pain, and we're not talking about the kind the Grinch experienced, he went to Banner Thunderbird where he met longtime Nice List subscriber Dr. Sandeep Patel, a cardiac surgeon who delivered the not-so-jolly news of a needed triple bypass surgery.
And then all of a sudden you're talking about major surgery, cracking their chest open.
Dana says a lifetime of powerlifting, stress from working on sleighs at General Motors, and the baked goods all played a role.
Too many. Milk and cookies.
So instead of taking the chimney, Dana took an elevator to the surgery floor where staff had decorated his room in the heat of the summer right before he went under that sharp candy cane scalpel.
He brings warmth and joy to our patients, to their families, our staff, and memories that last a lifetime.
Recovery included plenty of steps and now gluten-free cookies, but also a recognition that we have just one life to live, and why not use it in a healthy way to spread some joy.
If I get out of here, I want to do something more meaningful, more giving to humankind, mankind, and this is what's been available for me.
In Glendale.
I'm okay if you give me some gluten-free and or non-dairy that I can actually take with me.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Plus, we're still tracking colder temperatures this morning along with that southerly flow. We'll tell you how long that lasts coming up after the break.
Right now at 5:30, Knoll, Missouri celebrates completion of a project that makes the community a little safer.
Plus, we're starting off quite chilly this morning. I'll tell you how long that'll last today.
And some Southwest Missouri grade schoolers reach out to brighten the Christmas of some tiny patients and their families.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's just coming up on 5:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chloe Arroyo. I hope you're grabbing those warm drinks this morning.
Yes.
The gloves too, the whole 9 yards.
You're going to need them. It's chilly out there.
It is cold. But hey, you know, it finally feels like December. Perfect time for us to have all the decorations out. Feels like Christmas.
Look at all this. It's beautiful.
'Tis the season. If it's going to be cold anytime, it's going to be cold now.
Absolutely.
So yeah, can't complain too much except for those winds. I'm not too thrilled about that. With the cold temperatures, it makes it a whole lot worse. In fact, let's go ahead and go over to our temperatures right now. We're sitting in the upper 20s, lower 30s right now. Again, that southerly wind is along with us, but we have winds anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour going on right now. So really keep that in mind as you're heading out the door this morning. That's going to slowly start to increase really around lunchtime this afternoon, especially in those further eastern counties in southwestern Missouri, even a little bit into northwestern Arkansas. Your wind gusts will be up to 35 to 40 miles per hour. And eventually this afternoon, we're going to shift over to a westerly wind. Before we get to Friday morning, we'll see a front push through. That's going to shift our winds to from the north to the south, so we'll have that northerly wind along with us. Wind gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour along with us for that. So we'll see some wind gusts quite extensive over the next day or two, and that's going to make our feel like temperatures pretty chilly into the upper teens to lower 20s. So really keep that in mind over the next couple of days. Tomorrow morning, however, once that cold front pushes through, we'll see our feel like temperatures really in the single digits. So really keeping that in mind, Mount Vernon's going to feel like 3 degrees, give or take, into the morning. So above all, very chilly morning, and even in the afternoon, we'll still feel like upper teens, lower 20s on Friday afternoon. So as those kiddos are heading off to class tomorrow, bundle up. Heading off to class this morning, bundle up, maybe not as much, but it's still going to be really chilly outside this morning. So we've got those temperatures in the 30s this morning, 34 degrees as they're heading off to that bus stop and heading home this afternoon. Sunny skies. We'll have that westerly wind along with us. Expect those temperatures to be up into the lower 50s. Now coming up in a bit, we're going to talk more about this mild day ahead of us, how long that's going to last throughout this weekend. We'll see a calm weekend ahead of us. And then we have a chance for rain on Christmas Eve. I'll have the updated forecast and more coming up.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks. Well, Tuesday, Missouri Congress gathered at the state capitol to induct former Senator Roy Blunt into the Hall of Famous Missourians. Now, for 12 years, Blunt served as a U.S. Senator before deciding not to run for re-election in 2024. Now, during the ceremony, Blunt was presented with a bronze bust in his likeness, which will find its new home in the Missouri Capitol hallway.
I've been really lucky, and I appreciate the good luck I've had and the good fortune I've had to work for Missourians at over an incredible 50 years now of public service.
And before becoming a U.S. Senator, Blunt was the Missouri Secretary of State, then represented Southwest Missouri in the U.S. House for 20 years. Well, students at Rise Elementary in Neosho, Missouri are spreading holiday joy with a generous donation to the pediatric unit at Freeman Hospital in Joplin. After raising $1,100 through a glow-in-the-dark concert, the students used the funds to buy fabric, make pillowcases, and fill them with toys. Yesterday, the students had the heartwarming experience of delivering 44 pillowcases full of toys to brighten the holidays for young patients and their families. Leaders say it's an excellent example of giving back to the community this season.
Every pillowcase has a sticker book, coloring book, a pair of socks, a fuzzy item like a stuffed animal. They have like a little fidget toy, and then there's a few other little random things in there.
We even got to sew our pillowcases, and we put ribbons on them, and we write notes. It was really fun.
The students also got the chance to meet and greet other healthcare workers and hospital officials. Well, students and staff at Knoll Elementary celebrated the completion of the school's new storm shelter yesterday. The shelter doubles as a gymnasium and is big enough to hold the entire Knoll community. Now, it's the fourth of 6 district-wide shelters funded by a $21 million no-tax increase bond.
Oh, it's very important, and not, like I said, not just for our students, but we have community members. We have community members that were former teachers that are here today. We have community members that have nothing to do with the school, but we want everyone to be safe. We want this to be a community that people want to come to.
Now, in addition to the new storm shelter, other completed construction projects at Knoll Elementary include a remodeled foyer and front offices. Well, it was a jolly jubilee yesterday at Carthage High School as students celebrated the end of the semester. And the students took part in a number of festivities, including playing games, listening to the school's choir's Christmas performance, and winning prizes for Best Decorated Classroom. The annual Christmas Assembly helped kick off the start of winter break for the students.
This winter break, I'll be going to my grandparents over in Joplin, and we always have a Christmas Eve party, so I get to see all of my extended family, and then we get to open presents on Christmas.
My family are taking a trip to Florida to go visit my grandma. We go to Bonita Springs, we go shopping, go to the beach, and we just get to hang out with my grandma over the holiday.
Yesterday's Christmas Assembly was organized by the Carthage High School Student Council. It's beginning to sound a lot like Christmas at Steadley Elementary in Carthage, Missouri. Well, Fairview Christian Church hosted yesterday's sing-along event, and families gathered in the gymnasium while kindergarten through third graders sang holiday classics. Audience members were invited to sing along, and the event was so packed, many audience members had to stand the entire show.
Absolutely, they enjoy getting together. Of course, we had the fanciest of clothes, and the kids just have a blast. They love to sing the songs and just watch the reactions of all of their family members that can be here.
I've been doing this for a little while, so I'm pretty used to it.
The principal says staff worked hard to ensure the event didn't get in the way of other activities, just in case parents have students in multiple schools. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Well, hundreds of volunteers continue cleaning up the coastline after a major oil spill in the Black Sea. Plus, a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas is currently being finalized. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. There is now a pause on implementing a stricter law on women's mandatory headscarf, a hijab, in Iran. The legislation was approved by the parliament last September and was set to be sent to the government this week, but that is no longer happening, halting the legislation at least temporarily. Now, the decision was reached by a top executive, according to Soram Dabiri, and the vice president in charge of parliamentary affairs. Now, the law enforces harsher punishments for women who refuse to wear the hijab and the businesses that serve them. Now, many believe the bill reignited protests that took place over the Islamic Republic after the 2022 death of Mahsa Amini. Now, hundreds of volunteers and emergency workers are cleaning Russia's southern coastline after 2 Russian ships spilled over 3,000 tons of oil into the Kerch Strait. Now, a state of emergency has been declared in several districts after regional authorities reported the coastline of the Krasnodar region was contaminated on Tuesday. The 2 ships were transporting over 9,000 tons of low-quality oil product when 2 tankers ran aground, causing a spill of 3,700 tons of this oil into the Kerch Strait. Satellite data shows oil continued to leak from one of the ships and spread toward the coast. Experts are still working to assess the full extent of the oil spill. Well, diplomats from the U.S. and other countries are inching toward a ceasefire deal which would bring the hostages home. And the announcement could come at any moment. Jared Halpern has more from Washington.
Do you speak to Prime Minister Netanyahu about a ceasefire deal in the next month?
I've spoken to him. I'll just speak again.
President Biden says a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas is being finalized, and there could be an announcement in the coming days. For more than a week, diplomats from the U.S., Israel, and other nations have been inching towards a deal that would stop the fighting and bring the hostages home. But the president's diplomatic push is a far cry from the message being sent by the man who will replace him on January 20th.
If these hostages aren't back home by that date, all hell's going to break out.
President-elect Trump hasn't said what that means, but claimed it won't be pleasant and shrugged off suggestions that deepening America's military footprint in the Mideast could lead to more instability. Meanwhile, Israel is preparing new plans to ensure its security after the fighting stops, claiming the ceasefire progress is proof their approach is working.
Opportunities have emerged. Look what happened in this year. Hamas is being dismantled. Hezbollah has been degraded.
But any deal could be complicated by Israel's increasing presence in Syria, which Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says will continue indefinitely.
The place hasn't changed, but its importance to Israel's security has been reinforced. We will determine the best arrangement that will ensure our security.
President-elect Trump has also said that while he backs Israel, he does not want the U.S. to get involved in Syria.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's a chilly start to our morning, very much like December, not as chilly as yesterday morning with those hefty wind gusts around the morning work commute hours, but our actual temperature is actually around the same right now. We've got that southerly flow along with us. That's still keeping us a little on the chilly side across the board. We're nearing that freezing range. Neosho right on the mark at 32 degrees, but a lot of folks are still into the upper 20s. So a lot of us saw a hard freeze last night, which is 28 degrees or lower. Now your winds right now, like I said, that southerly flow is along with us, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour right now. So it's consistent. You can notice it, but it's not extreme, and it won't be until this afternoon around noon or so. We could see wind gusts anywhere from 35 to 40 miles per hour. So if you're out and about today, really keep that in mind, especially around lunchtime. You may want to opt out for the outdoor lunch, even though our temperatures are going to feel pretty nice later on today. Thursday night into Friday morning, we'll see a shift in the direction of our winds after the back end of a front pushes through. We'll see those northerly winds along with us, northwesterly winds for that matter. We'll see our wind gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour along with us. So Friday morning could be pretty windy as well. Now when you have the winds and you've got the actual temperatures, you can really infer the feel like temperature is going to be a whole lot colder when you have stronger winds along with that. So our feel like temperatures this morning are going to be in the upper teens, lower 20s, so it's going to be a chilly morning, but we'll have some stronger winds, much colder temperatures tomorrow morning. So Friday morning, we could see those temperatures feeling like the single digits across the board. Mount Vernon feeling like 3 degrees, give or take, a Friday morning. So really keep that in mind. Make sure the kiddos are all bundled up for class on Friday morning. Even in the afternoon, we'll still feel like what it feels like right now early in the morning. Now off to school this morning, temperatures in the 30s. Again, we got that southerly flow along with us. Then this afternoon, we'll see those temperatures warm up into the 50s. Sunny skies for your Thursday afternoon. Westerly winds will be with us later on this afternoon. Temperatures will be in the lower 50s this afternoon. They'll warm up around 4 p.m. or so. That's when we'll see our high. And then later on this evening, we'll still have temperatures in the 40s later on this evening, but our low tonight, 24 degrees. Now that's a 20-degree difference between 10 p.m. 41 degrees and tonight at 24. That's because that cold front's going to push through. A relatively strong temperature gradient will bring us down a good 20 degrees overnight. Now your overall future track, we're going to see a ridge push off or really begin to develop in the western portions of the United States. That's going to affect our pattern in the central plains as well, and we're going to be pretty calm over the next couple of days and into the weekend until we get to Monday night into Tuesday. That's when we'll see our next rain chance. And then even on Thursday into the weekend, we could see another chance for showers next week. So really the only chance for, or really the only day that we won't see a chance for showers, Christmas Day next week on Wednesday. So here's a look at your 10-day forecast. We're going to be calm at the end of this week, but chilly on Friday, and then a very active weather pattern heading into next week. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Well, we all know the line from the classic Christmas poem, "The stockings were hung by the chimney with care." And a 7-year-old girl from Utah has been making stockings with care and giving them to those in need. Breck Bolton takes a look.
Meet Chloe Montoya, who learned how to sew from her grandmother at the age of 4.
And is this your sewing machine?
Yeah.
What are you doing on your sewing machine during this time before Christmas? What are you trying to make?
I make homemade stockings.
Navajo.
Okay.
We're a Shihi clan.
Since midsummer, Chloe has been making over 100 Christmas stockings for a purpose.
And why are you doing this?
To give other people some Christmas cheer around the holiday season.
Chloe wants to bring this cheer with stockings stuffed with hygiene products, games, and toys
And the candy cane.
to other Native youth who are part of the Utah foster care.
I put them in bags, and then in the bags I put a plushie, a book, a little book, and a puzzle.
Some of these items were donated, but other items were purchased by Chloe from the money she earned at selling her sewing goods at various markets. Her hands and heart are all over the gift.
How does it make you feel when you know you're making something special for someone that maybe doesn't have good things for Christmas?
Feel good.
She's certainly incredible, very talented too. Stick around, we'll be right back. Well, KFC is leaning into its sauces. The fast food chain is testing out a new concept restaurant that focuses on sauce and dips. Now, the prototype, called Saucy, opens tomorrow in Orlando. The restaurant centers around 11 new dips as a nod to the 11 spices and herbs on its fried chicken. Now, instead of KFC's classic red, the outside is covered in pink and the interior features kiosks, brightly colored seats and tables. There's also space for live entertainment. We'll have your toothbrush and floss handy. It's National Hard Candy Day. Most hard candies are 100% sugar that have been boiled and placed into molds. But some candies were once used for medicinal purposes. Now, doctors used to prescribe hard candies made with lemon or peppermint to help with stomach problems like indigestion. And even today, we use lollipops or cough drops to cure sore throats. Now, what's even better about hard candy is it lasts for a while. Now, it's hard to scarf down a lollipop or candy cane without savoring it first.
And here's a look at your bus stop forecast this morning as the kiddos are heading out to school. We're going to be temperatures in the 30s, so a little chilly, just a hair above freezing. We're also going to have a slight breeze along with us, making us feel a little bit colder, but that southerly wind's going to eventually warm us up into the lower 50s this afternoon. We'll see a shift in the wind direction. Westerly winds will be with us later on this afternoon. Now, planning out your day, temperatures lower 50s across the board, sunny skies for the 4 states, and then into the evening hours we'll be in the 40s, eventually low 40s by 10 p.m. but our low tonight 24 degrees. That's because we'll see a cold front push through later on tonight. Our winds will stay a little bit calm before they pick right up along with that front later on tonight. Here's a look at your 10-day forecast. We've got calm temperatures into the weekend, but a cold day on Friday, a high of 36 degrees tomorrow. Mighty chilly day ahead of us before we see a change in the weather pattern next week. We'll warm up into the 50s across the board Monday into Tuesday as our first chance for showers. Then Christmas Day on Wednesday, we'll see a little bit of a break before we see another active pattern. Chances for showers all throughout Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week. We'll be right back.